Hey, what's going on everyone? Today I'm going to attempt to put the cam bearing spacers and cam bearings in the 3900. So, first thing I gotta do, I gotta remove these bearings here. Which are the old ones, originals. But before I do that, I'm going to have to remove the flex plate. Then I'll have to knock the cam cap out of the back there. That way, once that cap's out of there, I can knock the bearings out from the front and knock them out the backside. In order to do this cam bearing job, I had to get a hold of this cam bearing tool, which is made just for removing the cam bearings and installing. Don't want to lose the shim on the flex plate there. This one looks like it might be secured to the flex plate. On the 3400s they're usually separate. Well, somebody's been in this motor before because they've cooped up the rear main seal. That kind of worries me a little bit. We'll put a new one in while we're in here. Actually, that looks more like the oil pan. Seals all been gooped up, so somebody's probably resealed the oil pan on this once before. But we're gonna pull the oil pan off and we'll clean all that up while the motor's out. Alright, got the cam bearing toolkit here. Comes with instructions. Gonna end the hit nice and long. Looks like this stuff just threads in, so you can extend it and whatnot. Some rubber bands, which I believe go around these. Well, let's knock the back one out of there. Alright, so I'm just going to use a socket on a long old extension here just to knock that cap out of the back. Save that in case I need to get a measurement for the new one. I just got some whiteout liquid paper stuff here. I'm just going to mark on the block where each hole is for the oil feed. Basically the last three in there, the back three, are all in the same order. It's just the front one's got two holes, so I just got to mark those, which will be here and there, and then the other ones are approximately there. So this way I keep track when the new ones go in, make sure the oil feed holes are lined up. So now just got the expander here. This goes on the end of it. Just slide this on here like so until the bottom's out. Thread this on here. Got the cone in place, so we'll center it. Slide this through. Start with the back one, that way I can get at the nut to tighten it down. So line this up till it hits the edge of the bearing there. Thread this down. Tap. There you go. Got one out. Now I move to the next one. Alright, so there's no way to get a wrench on there to get the next bearings out. So I'll have to use a socket and extension from the back to tighten it down. Ratchet on there. Tighten that down the right spot. A little clean to see. Now I gotta line it up with the back one and hammer it out through the next one. So that one's larger, so it just falls out. There we go. Number 2. Alright, so I got the bearing centered up and going from the back side here. So now I just gotta tap it out. There we go. Now I have all the bearings removed. Alright, so last time I was trying to assemble these bearings a couple weeks ago. I originally picked up these ones here, which are for 3400. Don't know if I had some that were boxed wrong or what, but one of the bearings did not fit. It's supposed to be a precedent, and this one just kind of drops into place. So either it's the wrong one or these are only designed for small block Chev bearings. From what I understood, that the 3400 bearings were supposed to be the same as the small block Chev, except for the Chevy ones were a little bit wider, and this is not the case, or my 3400 bearings are boxed wrong. So anyways, we'll press in the Chevy ones. Here's, show you guys the part number in case you guys want to pick some up if you get these bearing spacers. This part number here, as you can see, does not fall in like the other one. So now I'll just measure these up, because 2 of these are different, being the center bearings, and start pressing these in, and then I can put them back in the block. So on the small block Chev bearings here, there's 5 bearings in the box, so basically you have 1 extra. The 2 in the center here, or that I'm going to use for the center, they're just a little narrower, and then the other 2, as you can see, 42, there's 37. So I'm going to use the thicker one in the back and the other 2 in the center. So now I just got to line up the holes, as you can see here. Just basically line those up, and then I'll use the vise to press them in. It may not be necessary, but I'm going to use a little bit of bearing and sleeve retainer. Just put a little bit on the other side of the bearings, just for some extra insurance. Alright, so just put a little sleeve retainer around the outside of the bearing. So now I'll press it in. Alright, got the bearing spacer and bearing set up here in the vise with a little bit of cardboard to protect the edges. So now I just press it in. Make sure your holes are lined up too. There we go. First one done. So I got a little bit further I gotta go on this one. Which I'll probably just use the press. Just to get that one seated. Just put a rag on there and the vise. Cardboard was taking up too much space. It's a little bit more. Now it's in. Okay, so I got it seated all the way here. I did end up using this piece here from my bearing and bearing race and seal driver set. So I just use this on here like so. Press it in on the vise. So now I just got to do the other three, and then we can put her back together. So all the bearings are pressed in into the spacers and they're all ready to press back into the block. First I'm just going to line up where the holes are. I'm just going to make a mark on the outside of the bearing. So when I press it in, I'm just using some liquid paper. So I know where the hole is and I can line it up with the block where I put my marks before to ensure proper oiling. Alright, so I got the first bearing lined up on here, ready to go. Just going to line up with my mark there. That way, I'm going to go press it in, and it'll be in the right spot. Alright, so I got the first one pressed in there. Looks pretty good. So we got all the bearings and spacers installed. Now just need to get a new cap for the back. Tap that in. The plug. It's not really a frost plug. It's just a block plug. Probably reuse this one, but I'd just be worried about losing a bit of tension after being pressed in. Now pressed back out. So I'll see if I get another one. If not, I'll just reuse this one. Now I just gotta move on to the camshaft. Then I can measure if I need to push rods or not, which I most likely will. Alright, so I just toss the stock 3400 camshaft in there. Just see how it looks in there. Fits good. All the cam lobes line up with the lifters. Oil pump drive off the cam. Just kind of worried about if the sensor's going to work or not. I'm going to have to take a look at a 3400, see how it lines up with the sensor on the cam on the 3400. This one's kind of just catching the edge, so I'll have to see if it's going to work. Sort of see the pickup in there, how it's halfway back on the center of the cam sensor bore, so let's hope that works. That's going to be it for this one. So make sure you subscribe if you want to see how this thing turns out. Thanks for watching.